everybody, this is Ed, and welcome back to another edition of Bagel and Booze. We're continuing our Decem-beer journey, and out of the big box of cheer, we pulled out two coffee-flavored beers. We got a porter, and we got a stout. Our only porter and our only stout that was in the whole box of 24. Like we said, it was mostly laden with IPAs, so we're facing off with our heavy dark beers today. So we're going to go ahead, get everything set up. We'll get the first beer up, and we'll get started, and we'll face them off, and we'll give them our taste test. So our first beer for today comes from the Big Island of Hawaii, and it is from Kona Brewing, and it is their Kona Classic Pipeline Porter. This is obviously their porter beer, and it is brewed with Hawaiian Kona coffee. Pretty straightforward, no bells or whistles. It sounds like it's just giving us straight up coffee style porter. The website for the Big Box of Cheer tells us that this is best paired with cheesecake. Wish I had a slice of cheesecake and we would taste it up with it, but unfortunately I don't, so we're just going to go ahead and do the straight up beer tasting with it. And you know, we got to have our the more you know moment, because it's not a bagel and booze without it. And because we're doing a whole set of coffee stuff for today, kind of did a little bit of checking, and coffee here in the U.S. is only commercially grown in 2 locations, 3 if you count the territories. The 2 states are Hawaii and California. Puerto Rico is the territory that handles that, and Kona coffee is wide known as it is, actually only accounts for 1% of the world the world production, not the U.S. production, but of the world production. And 90% of the coffee consumed in the U.S. is imported. And just a little, tidbit for Kona coffee to kind of, show the importance and, how narrow and how focused coffee growing, not brewing, we're growing it. It is a section of Hawaii that is only 2 miles wide. It's located about 200 to 700 feet on the shores of the Mauna Loa volcano. Apologies if I butchered that. And what is really kind of gets it going is the black soil that is there on the volcano. That is perfect for growing coffee. So there's our quick little, the more you know. Figured I would just kind of find out a little bit about Kona coffee, because we're doing coffee and coffee for 2 beers. So let's go ahead. I'll get this poured out, and we will go ahead and sample it out and see how it tastes.
I drink and I know things.
So we got everything all poured out, and as we would expect with our porter, it's a nice dark beer. When I kind of look at it, if I hit it, the light just right in here in the studio, it kind of gives us a nice dark ruby color to it. We would expect that kind of out of our porter. It's not a light beer, so it is going to be dark on the darker side. The head is in, kind of nice caramel color with that. Giving it the old sniff test, I'm not really getting any overpowering coffee tones. I guess maybe that's a good thing, could be a bad thing. So we'll go ahead and give it the taste test and see if we get any coffee that comes out of that. Yeah, we got a little bit of coffee. There's, truth be told, oh, there we go. Got it on the backside, on the forward front of the initial taste. I didn't get much of a coffee, but there is definitely a mouthfeel there for the coffee flavoring. Kind of got it when we kind of swallowed. There's really not much to this. As we would kind of, as I kind of expected based upon with what the manufacturer said. I guess they're not really manufacturers, the brewer. They don't manufacture beer, they brew beer. So from what they said, it is just pretty much straight up porter infused with Kona coffee. This is a limited edition release that Kona Brewing has said. It's one that they brought back, so I can see why. It is not too bad. It does everything right. It's not overpowering on the coffee. It's not bitter. It's very smooth. There's just, I guess in reality, there is like a subtleness to the coffee that comes out in this beer. I'm kind of torn, 4 or 5, I guess maybe a 4, because I would like a little bit more robustness in the drink. It There is a little something lacking. Like I said, it's a good bit of coffee, but I guess could use a little bit more flavor profile to the beer. So we'll err on the side and we'll give it a 4. It's a high 4. So I guess as we did with yesterday's beers, I guess we'll give this the good old chug test. We'll see if anything changes in our tasting of it. See if I get any like with the sour we had yesterday, it really kind of nailed us when we chugged it because there was a whole bunch of sour at one time. So we'll see if this changes anything. We get any more of a coffee overpower when we give it the old chug test. So we'll find out if it's chuggable or not. Not that we have much left to chug, but we'll try. So it definitely is chuggable. I'm not really getting any difference between the regular sips and the chug. Still the same amount of kind of coffee overtones that we got out of the initial tasting. Same come from a whole lot of it at one time. So with that, this one is done. We'll go ahead, get everything reset, and we will try out our next beer. So for our second beer for today, we've got another offering out from Elysian. This one is their split shot espresso milk stout. It's a mouthful. With this, it is obviously their milk stout, and this is brewed with coffee from Stumptown Coffee Roasters, which is out of Portland, Oregon. So you got Seattle, Washington, and we got Portland, Oregon. So we got a nice blend of the Northwest. So we're going to go ahead and get this one poured out.
I drink and I know things.
So we got everything all poured out, and as we would expect, it's dark. It's dark day on Bagel and Booze, or I should say it's dark beer day on Bagel and Booze. So looking at it, getting kind of a little bit of that kind of rubiness. I don't know, I guess if the light hits it just right, but it definitely is dark, which you'd expect out of the stout. I guess looking at it, it's I can't really tell. I'm not getting as well, I guess now that I see the light hit in that fashion, we get a nice dark red coloration to it, very very deep when I look at it. So we'll give it the old sniff test. Again, I'm not getting much of a coffee overtone. Going to allude that to the fact that it is mixed in with the milk stout. So we'll see. We'll give it the taste test and see if we get any coffee coming out of it. I'm going to actually expect this one to probably be a little bit more smoother than the porter because it is based upon a milk stout. It is definitely very smooth. The milk stout side of it gives it that nice smooth creaminess that we get. The coffee is very subtle. I get a little bit more coffee there. First taste, not so much. This one, a little bit more. Um, you know, there we go. There's a little bit of a linger. So it definitely is not a coffee forward flavor profile out of this beer. We get the, I guess we'll attribute that out to the fact that we're blending it in with the milk stout. It is definitely a very smooth drinking beer. I guess I'm not going to find much wrong with the beer that from the website, from the Big Box of Cheer, tells us matches with bacon and eggs. So I don't know how you can go wrong with beer that pairs up well with breakfast. I guess if you're looking for a breakfast beer, you got one here in the Elysian Split Shot. It's milk, it's coffee. What more do you want for breakfast? So continuing to try it out, you know, the coffee definitely is kind of growing on me. It is not. It's very smooth. It's very subtle. With this, we'll give it off. We'll give it a 5. I am not finding much wrong with this one. It is definitely very drinkable. It works very well. There, it's. I think the smoothness of it. Plus, we don't have the kind of coffee. So, whereas with the Kona Porter, where I was kind of wanting a little bit more, I think with this, with having the milk stout, giving it the creamy edge to it, it has helped out to try to drive this one up, to a 5 out of 5 versus that 4 where we were just kind of missing something. So I guess the thing that we were missing, like in this case, we got the creamy milk. Maybe with the 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 Kona Porter, maybe if we had kind of made it like a chocolate porter or something like that, give it just an extra flavor, might have driven it up to a 5. This one I cannot find much wrong with it. You continue to try it, and it just grows on you. So I guess we'll keep the streak alive with the chug test, and we'll give it that test, the chug test as well here. I guess stouts really are not, in my mind, a beer for chugging. Maybe do a nice car bomb or something like that. So let's find out. So yes, definitely chuggable. Definitely get hit more with the coffee. Lose a little bit of the milk creaminess that we were having off of the initial as we kind of sipped it. So you do get a lot more kind of the coffee hitting you when you chug it, which as you would kind of expect when you get a lot of beer at one time. But overall, it works out. Even off of the chug test, we don't change much, you know. So with that, this is done. I'm done. We're done. And again, I thank you for tuning in for another edition of Bagel and Booze, and we'll catch you for another set of reviews. Thanks, guys.